Hey, we're down here in North Carolina in the Tennessee area, and the reason we're down here is to ride Yamaha's new MT-09 SP. And the question that we came here to really answer is the MT-09 SP worth the extra money over the standard MT-09? Let's first talk about what makes this bike different than the standard MT-09. The MT-09 just was redone this year as well and had a bunch of upgrades to the engine. The transmission's updated, it had some electronics updates, it had a whole slew of things already done. But then with the SP, they took another step. So they added some very significant things that give this bike some unique features that that bike doesn't have. First of all, let's talk about the suspension. So the suspension on the SP model comes with an Öhlins rear shock that's fully adjustable, has a remote preload adjuster, rebound and compression damping, so that's a big upgrade over the standard model right there. The fork is a KYB unit that's also fully adjustable, rebound, compression, damping, and preload. So you take those two things into account right out of the gate, it kind of makes up for what the price would be on this bike. But there's some other stuff. The bike already had a Brembo master cylinder, but now they've added the Brembo Stylema front calipers to this bike, which is a huge upgrade on this bike. There's nothing wrong with the other brakes, but these are a completely another step compared to those brakes. So that's another big key feature. Then electronic features that the bike has upgrades. It's got the keyless ignition, which is really nice. It's got the fob now, so you can do your ignition, you can unlock the fuel cap, all of those things with the fob, and then you can just keep it in your pocket, and it's a real nice feature that the standard model doesn't have. So let's talk about the Rider Aid Suite, because there's a couple key features on the Rider Aid Suite that are different than the standard MT-09. So one of the first things is that on the MT-09 SP, you've got basically a supermoto mode. You can turn the ABS off to the rear wheel. So that's one of the key things. And the other thing is you've got an engine brake control, which you didn't have on the MT-09 standard model. So those are two additional rider aids that didn't exist on the MT-09. And the price difference is only $1,700. The SP model is $12,299. So for the added suspension that you get and the key fob and the electric ride modes and then the Brembo Stylemas, it all adds up to a pretty good value compared to the standard model. I didn't get to ride the new bike earlier this year, but as this bike is, I was really impressed. So let's talk about some of the key features. Right away, let's talk about the chassis because the biggest changes are there. The suspension was really, really good. It's just tight and nice. The tail of the Dragon is just an endless flip-flop back and forth, slow speed corners, and then at different times during the day, we did some really high-speed stuff. And in all those situations, the suspension was just excellent. It makes this bike so much fun. And then you've got the braking package. The Brembo Stylema is really hard to argue against. They're just such a good package. The feel with the lever is awesome. The master cylinder that is paired with the Brembo brakes is a completely great setup. Nowhere today did I have any issues with the braking. I love the feel of them, I love the bite of them, just a really good package. So the engine is the CP3 890cc engine that's in the standard model, but in this bike, it's just the perfect middleweight size. You know, it's somewhere in between the 1000cc open class bikes and then the smaller displacement bikes like the MT-07. And this combination of the torque and the power is just ideal in this package. Never today was there any point out in our ride where we were riding along and we're hauling butt on Tail of the Dragon, we're on some really fast roads, and never are you wanting for power. The engine is just really tractable. You can come out of the corners and you've got the torque. The quick shifter works great, and you keep it on the boil, and it just makes it a really fun riding experience. And so at no point did I ever wish I was riding something else today. I was super stoked with the power delivery and how this bike performs on the road. And so it's a really, really nice package. So let's talk about the MT-09 SP's basic rider aid package, because the menu options are really nice on this bike. You've actually got 9 possible modes. You've got 3 fixed modes. You've got a street mode, a sport mode, and you've got a rain mode. And then you've got 2 custom modes, and then you've got 4 track modes. 6 of those modes are completely customizable, so you can go in and set those up to your liking. You can toggle through them on your mode switch. You know, if you're doing a quick road and you want to be in a sportier mode, you can do that. If it starts raining, you can switch on the fly and go over to a rain mode. So there's so many options in there that you can go in and change. It's got the typical stuff. It's got traction control, it's got slide control, it's got wheelie control, it's got engine brake control now on the SP. It's got all these options to really set up the bike to your preference. difference. And now it's got a new switch pod on the left handlebar, which is a huge upgrade from some of the older ones. And it's so easy to get into the menus either on the fly or just when you're stopped. It's very intuitive. You've just got a click wheel that is a directional click wheel, and then you've got an easy in and out button. And I found that super easy to navigate. I hadn't worked on this bike before. You sit down and in 2 seconds you figured it out, and you can go through the menus and find all the settings that you want. So that's a super nice setup. So ultimately, the question that we came out here to answer is this bike worth the extra $1,700 over the base model? And I would say for sure it is. I think just the value you get from the suspension and the brakes alone, and then the added ride modes makes this bike just a big upgrade over the standard one. I guess it depends on what you're gonna do with the bike. If you're really intending to ride it sporty, this bike is very sporty. You could take this bike to track days, you could take this on your favorite back road, and you're not gonna be wanting for anything in terms of performance. The engine size is great, I think the chassis is great, and it just is an overall really fun package. All right, so that's it from our day here in North Carolina and Tennessee riding the Tail of the Dragon on the MT-09 SP. And I think we answered our question that we feel like this bike is definitely worth the upgrade in money, and had a really great day. So if you like what you see, please remember to subscribe, like, and we want to hear your comments and let us know what you think. So thanks for watching.